On today's Chit Chat Snackable, he's a former professional football player. He played college football for the University of Georgia, earned consensus All-American honors 3 times. He joined the NFL, where he played for the Dallas Cowboys, the Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles, and New York Giants. Recently, he's been very vocal about his opinion on the NFL and NBA's decision to incorporate the phrase Black Lives Matter on the fields and sports jerseys, arguing some people may not believe in BLM. Please welcome to the show, Heisman Trophy winner, the one and only Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker, welcome.
Welcome. Wow. You know, Herschel, let me just say this here. The other night I was looking at your interview with Harris Faulkner, and you all was talking about how the Black Lives Matter, they want to put a mural on the NBA floor and write different social justice messages on the jerseys. I believe I'm explaining that correctly. But during the interview, you were speaking the truth, but they ran out of time. And when I saw that, I said, oh, we have to get him on the show. You all call him, do whatever you need to do, get him on the show, because I want to allow you the opportunity to finish speaking about this particular important matter that I think the world really needs to hear. So can you just give us your thoughts about what the NBA is basically doing and how they're really destroying sports?
Well, you know what was funny about this whole situation going on, and is because of this situation, and it has got me researching. And I tell people they need to research, and there's no doubt Black Lives Matter, and I'm gonna say White Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter, America Lives Matter, because we live in America. There's some problems going on. There's no doubt. People throw words out there that I don't think they know what the meaning of it. You know, you hear all the time this systemic racism. And I'm like, guys, do y'all know what that word means? That's embedded into a norm, meaning it's been happening. Well, 20 years ago, we couldn't have had a black president.
That's right.
And then I said, so you cannot use that word, but you can say we need equality. But racism is, we're watering it down. And it upsets me because my parents went through real tough racism in the South. And I said, for the athletic world to go into politics, and I said that was a way of me getting with my white brothers, me getting with my Latino brothers, that we talk, we communicate, we got along. And I said, right now they're trying to separate. And all I said, and I want to say to people, is do your own research.
Right.
BLM, that's important, but the organization, because guys, this was so funny. When this first started, I said, you know what, Herschel should give something to BLM. That's true. I didn't know what it was. So I happened to Google it. And I saw that. I said, wait a minute, they give money to one party, just to one party. I was like, how is that inclusive? That's divisive.
That's right.
You know, and I said, guys, that's what I disagree with. And I said, but people want to shout you down if you disagree with them today. And then you be called all types of names. And I said, guys, I grew up with the Bible. I grew up with the Bible. I grew up with law and order. You know, police have been mean to me too, but all policemen are not bad. But I said, I grew up with the Bible. So he without sin cast the first stone.
That's right.
And then I get upset because my mom is a pastor. My mom is a minister. I have 3 sisters that's ministers. I have a brother-in-law that's a minister. And I said, what's so strange is I look at all these pastors out there talking about his reparation, all this stuff.
Come on.
Well, I said, I talked to my mom. She's in her 80s. And I said, I am confused because it also said, how can I ask my Heavenly Father to forgive me if I can't forgive my fellow man?
Wow.
And my mom said, you know, my nickname is Bo. She said, you know, Bo, it was tough back then. She said, when I was a little girl, it was tough. And she said, we knew to stay in our lane. And we knew that, you know, if you step out of your lane, you may come up missing. And we knew you were dead. But she said, things have got much better today.
Yeah.
And she said, it continued to get better. Even though it may be moving slow, but it's continued to get better. But she said, we have this is my mom. She's 80-something years old. My mom she didn't finish high school. She said, even though she said, we have a system in place that can make it better. She said, we just had a black president. And she said, has anyone ever thought about what do we owe all the white soldiers that died in the Civil War?
Yeah.
And I said, why are we talking to all these young people? Why don't we go to the old people and ask them how they feel?
Yeah.
Because you always are asking someone that knows nothing about something, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
Right. And they only been here for 12 years, 15 years.
Never
really
paid a bill.
Never really experienced life.
Yeah.
And that's what I asked, and that's what I want to say on the call. And I wasn't, everyone said Herschel faced off with Mark Cuban. I said, no. I said, I want to talk to Mr. Cuban. And I said, Mr. Cuban, he got more money than I got. So I'm saying Mr. Cuban. But I just want to say, not to argue with him. I wanted to hear his point.
Right.
So I can give him the point. And I said, do you know what Black Lives Matter stands for?
Right.
That's right.
And I'm not saying you're wrong or you're right, but I said, so what about anyone else? Because I said, not to be mean, but everyone talks about quotas sometimes. And I laugh. I said, that'll be terrible, because now we start putting quotas and all that in thing. And you guys say, well, NBA, you got to get more white guys. You got too many white guys playing. National football, you gotta have a quota. You gotta get more white guys in. I said, where do you come at that? I'm not saying that do we need equality, but the way you get it is through the system we have in place. We're the best country in the world. I don't care what anyone said. We're the best country in the world because you have people dying on boats. You have people dying on ships. You have people dying on trains to get to America.
That's right.
Yes.
Because they know if they get to America, they made it. That's a golden ticket.
That's right. We always say that we are the land of the free, the home of the brave, and not the slave.
And then think about baseball that getting ready to put it on their mound.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that.
The American pastime. This will be American pastime.
Right.
Why are you putting an organization out there?
Let me ask you this, Hershey. Let's go back to Black Lives Matter and what they stand for. Somewhere in their bylaws, they said they want to disrupt the nuclear family. And when we think of the nuclear family, we think of a mother and a father. And when I see children out in the streets, especially our young men, just burning down, looting, not understanding certain things, it could be the lack of parenting, the lack of a father in the home. What do you feel about that? And what do you feel about corporations pumping their money into an organization that wants to dismantle Black people from having a mother and a father?
Well, I think, and this is what I said, they're doing the same thing that happened years ago to the African American. And I think there's good companies. They want to do right. They're trying to do right, but they want to be politically correct. They're trying, but that's when I just go back to, do you understand what they stand for?
Right.
And everyone blame, someone for saying separated. I said, guys, it goes all the way back to slavery. I taught, and I'm gonna say something, y'all forgive me for this. It goes all the way back to slavery, that we still have that mentality sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna talk to you guys like y'all my sisters, because you are my Black sisters.
Yeah.
And I say this to whites too, because they're my sisters and brothers too. And I say, the problem we have is we're going back to this mentality that the father leaves in the Black family. He leaves the boys alone so they'll be raised by the mom. And I said, that's true. Yeah. But I said it goes back because you remember back in the slave days, the father sometimes he become the big man on there and they sell him off from the family.
Right, or beat him to an inch.
They beat him or sell him off. So he's gone now. So the little kids are there now. They're working like that today because they got to grow up. So I said, it seemed like that's the mentality everyone want to take. But I said, the way we can help that though, now you just listen to me for a moment. I said, the way we can help it, because all these riots and all these things going on, is anyone talked about a solution? Everyone talking about all this stuff. Here's the one solution. I said, guys, we have a lot of NBA, NFL players. We have a lot of NBA players. And they want to help. They're giving millions of dollars to Black Lives Matter. Well, let's not do that. What we need to do is, let's say, okay, Herschel, and I blame myself, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I said, what we need to do is let's go in our neighborhood and let's become fathers of those fatherless child. Meaning, let's try to direct them in the right way.
Yeah.
But we ain't got too good.
But can I just say this here? Okay, so you done raised your child. Now you got to go and try to be a father to somebody else. What about teaching our Black men that if you lay down with a woman and you make a baby, it is your responsibility to stay there to make sure that that child is raised?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Give them good values that you have, that you say, you know what? And I said this to someone, I said, if you have a child with a woman, even if you have to leave that woman, you don't leave the child.
Right.
You let that child know, you try to work it out. You're going to be respectful to her, and you're going to be respectful to other things. You show that to your child. You know, my son, you know, my ex-wife and I got a divorce. But let me tell you something that's so funny about it. This was so funny about it. My ex-wife, we got a divorce. She got remarried. So you saw my wife, Julie. So my son, you know, we got to raise him. And I'm in his life. Let me tell you what, homeboy knows dad is in his life. I cry, I'm like that, dude. But what's funny about it, my ex-wife and her husband, my son and my wife, Julie, and me, we're at dinner. And I would say, hey, this is my son right here. And this is his mom right here. And this is his mom's husband right here. This is my wife right here. And people look at us like we're crazy. And I said, no, we get along because it ain't about us no more.
That's right.
That's right.
It's about him, because he's got to know that you got to be responsible.
Yeah.
You got to know that you got to respect the law. You got to know that you got to do what's right, because that's the way my family was. And people get mad at me for it. And you know what hurt me, and I don't want to talk too much, but what hurt me a couple of weeks ago, and this is a white person told me this. She said, Herschel, you tweet and you talk white. And I went, how do you tweet Black? I said, I am confused, because if you don't agree with someone else, you have a problem.
Wow.
God, that's what's so great about America, is I can do that.
Right.
Everyone want to take that from me. And I said, the worst thing that they did was to educate Herschel Walker. That
That's
I go
right.
Google stuff and I learn what stuff means. And I said, guys, that's the freedom we have.
Right.
Yeah.
But we also have freedom, because I said, guys, has the NFL ever thought about this? And I'm just throwing stuff out. I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah.
The NBA, they want to give $500 million to Black Lives Matter. Yes, Black Lives Matter said they're blue sort of. They give to just a Democrat, and then I go by and I said, guys, have y'all even studied what the Democrat, who they were? They were for slavery.
Well, let me ask you this, Hershey. Let me ask you this here. So looking at the Black community, do you think a lot of our problems is the way that Black people are depicted on television? Just hear me out. I noticed you said about a white person saying you talk white instead of Black. So have white liberals or this liberal ideology already set the stance for Black people that you can only be this, you can only do this, you can only speak this way, or you're not Black? Have this media depicted Black people as animals, savages, people that slide up and down the pole, commit crimes, criminals? Have the media depicted us that way?
No, they have. They have depicted us that way. But if you look at what's going on with the riots today, that's still going on.
Yeah.
Because this Black Lives movement has been hijacked by people that has nothing to do with Black Lives. They wear that shirt, BLM on.
Yeah.
And they have these hoods on, like they're out there doing stuff. They're the one breaking the buildings and tearing into stuff, as the African Americans are sitting at home saying, man, I like what they're doing. Then all of a sudden they pull the hoods off and they're white.
Yeah. And you said it's been hijacked. You said it's been hijacked, and I think it's been sold out.
Well, it's funny because
Black Lives Matter movement have been sold out.
Well, if they want something. And I said, there's no doubt. I said, there's problems in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And the way it is solved is in Washington, through voting, through doing it the right way. Whereas I said, we have to put people in office that can get along with this president.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. I said, guys, you got, and your local leaders, you don't just vote for the president and then you keep the same Congress in office forever. You know what's so funny? That's the reason nothing ever changed. And I hate to do this because, I work in Washington, so I'm going to get in trouble. But I said, guys, you have had the same people in Congress
Mm-hmm.
and at the Senate forever. And that's
Forever.
the reason nothing changed. I
Yeah.
said, if you want to see a change, shake it up. I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all probably say, Herschel, don't say that. I want to say the truth. People may not like it, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Guys, I don't like what AOC, I don't like what she says sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, wow, that is crazy what she said. But I respect her because she was voted on by her people and she's there. But I said, I hope her people realize, man, what she's saying is crazy and they don't vote for the next round. So that's what you do. And I said, that's what the NFL, the NBA, and all of them should do. Guys, why don't you put people in that chair that's going to vote for what you are fighting for?
That's right.
Not give it to one party that all they're going to do now is go out and try to fight this president. And people get mad because I like the president of the United States. Guys, you know, I've known President Trump and I've been together since 1983.
Wow.
And I said, I know this man. I said at his table, I ate with him. They want to say that he's a racist. And I said, guys, don't water down racist. And this what hurt me yesterday. You know, I'm walking through the house. I don't like listening to the news because everybody, it's not the news anymore, it's opinions.
Come on, yeah.
They don't give you opinion. I hear, and I shouldn't say this because I never want to call people out, but I heard former Vice President Biden said Trump was a racist president. And I went, you gotta be kidding me. People got sin cast the first stone. Have you heard what he said years ago?
Yes.
About African American, about Indians, about this? And I'm like, have you heard what he said? And it's like, God, how? And that's why I go to people like, God, don't take it from Herschel Walker. Look at it yourself.
Oh, look at it for yourself.
I was raised, I thought I was Democratic. I didn't know, my parents, they were Democrat. So they just thought they were there. They didn't know. But then all of a sudden when they started educating themselves, they started saying, wait a minute now, that don't really sound right. And we're smart people. We're not stupid.
Right.
And we're also conservatives too.
That's
and,
right.
and our values is not lining up with Democrats.
It's not. So I don't see why Black people vote Democrat. Let me ask you this, Hershey. How do we get our young people minds back? How do we get the young people minds that said America is not great, or they want to take down a statue because they little selves are so offended by it? How do we get the minds of our young people back?
It's education. It's education. You got to educate. You have to educate. That is so important.
Wait. You say educate, but even in the school systems, they're making certain types of classes mandatory for you to take in order to even graduate from college now. They're pushing this.
You have to reverse it. We have to reverse it. You know what's so funny? Do you know they have Black History Month, Black History Month? They don't even teach Black history.
Oh.
They don't even teach it. I don't work in Black History Month. They don't even teach it. I guarantee you go out and start asking kids from, I'm going to go from 21 down to 16. Tell them to tell you, they know about Martin Luther King. Tell them to tell you a little bit about it. Do they know about Frederick Douglass? Do they know about that? Do they know about these things? They don't teach that. They don't teach their struggles but then what was weird though, they taught, read the book with The Boy Behind the Fence. They teach that, and I don't know if y'all know what that book is, but I said, guys, teach it, and then have these tough conversations.
Yeah.
Have tough conversation that people going to be uneasy with, and that's what should be happening in Washington.
Yeah.
You know, when Senator Scott introduced that bill, he was trying to do something.
Yes.
You had Black people voted him down.
Against it. Yeah.
He was trying to make a story. And then what's sad is I've heard some people, senators and congresspeople, what's sad, say we're going to put it off to after the election.
Wow.
So we're losing lives.
Yeah.
People losing their businesses. And it's not that important for you to.
Yeah, they're not interested.
They don't care.
Yeah, the Democrats, we've already seen, when we see what's happening in Portland and how the president is sending federal agents in to curb the crime, the violence. You have the mayor of Portland standing out there going up against the federal agents and the police. It's just, it's crazy. Somebody is trying to help, but you have your own. We're the Black leaders. They won't even say anything about the violence, the Black on Black crime. So we already know that some of these Black leaders that's in high places, and even some of these white leaders in high places don't care. But we know President Trump do care. So tell people why you will be voting for President Donald J. Trump.
Well, I will be voting for him because he does what he says. This man, in 3 years, has done more for the African American community,
yes,
the Latino community, has done more for America than many people have done in the last 4 presidents. And people don't want, and that's what I like is, guys, get the facts. Then when you give them the facts, they just ignore it. They go right over the facts and go to something else. Say, guys, no, look at the facts. And I said, just think about this. If you can give this president just a little bit of help. Yeah. Just a little bit of help, because remember, I educated myself. I did research. I went and looked at, the oath of the military. It said, I would defend this country, foreign and domestic. That's right. Then I went and looked at the oath of a senator or a congressperson. Yep. And it said, I would defend the Constitution of the United States, foreign and domestic. Well, in article, I think Article 14, it said everyone in the United States has a right to law, and so it's like, wait a minute, these governors and mayors that saying, okay, let's defund the police, let's do this here, let's do that, they're going against the Constitution. That's right. They're not upholding their own. And then I said, okay, let's go back to the NBA, the NFL. If you want to win the Super Bowl, you don't put less money into your team, you put more money, because what you better do is go get you some better players. That's so right. You don't defund the police. What you do is you get better training. For years, I made this statement, and the people didn't want to hear Herschel Walker because, I'm stupid. I said, guys, if you want better teachers, put more money in teaching. I said, if you want better teachers, pay more money to teachers, you'll get better people doing it. I said, because right now, why will a teacher spend, 5-6 years in college to go make a small salary? And I have said this years ago. I said, I think teachers, police officers, firemen, first responders should make more money. And people say, why are you saying that? I said, because they deal with the general public. That's right. That's right. I said, because the general public, we have freedom of speech, so we have our own ideas. Right. And I said, because we have our own ideas, people come up with all these crazy things, but you got to respect them. Yeah. Got to respect them. And that's what I told someone. And people hate for me to say this. I said, guys, people can say what they want to say because we're in the United States of America. They can say what they want to say. And, whether you're white, whether you're black, you can say what you want to say, but you can't harm nobody. Right. That's right. But that's the freedom we have. And it's sad because I said, guys, these people today is trying to remove those freedoms. And how can people not see that? Right. Yes. How can people not see that? And I call friends of mine, I don't even name some big name people, because I thought I was wrong. I didn't see it. I said, am I crazy? Have I been like fool, or am I in a hypnotic state that that the truth? No, you see what I'm saying? Like so many people are saying things, and you go, wait a minute, do you really believe this? Yeah, like, is this America? This seems so surreal. Herschel, let me ask you this question here about the NFL. They have a tendency now of kneeling on the flag. What are your thoughts about individuals, these rich Black men, white men, all men, people kneeling on the flag of the United States of America? And if it was because of that flag that a lot of them are rich today. What are your thoughts about them disrespecting the flag? Well, my thing is, that's sad to me. Yeah. I love America. I love that flag. Yeah. I had an opportunity to be on the Olympic team. I made a winter Olympic team, primarily white. I was not so proud to see the United States of America come together in that arena and they matter about the color of the people from America, because that was my family. And that's why I tell people, as guys, the United States of America flag stands for, I never listened to Kim Greenwood and Lee Greenwood, they're good friends of mine. Yeah. I never listened to his song until the other day, and you look at the words and you see that flag was a flag of freedom. That's right. That's right. I told somebody one time, I said, guys, you know what's so funny? People can call me what they want to call me. I said, but I remember I used to have to travel because I used to be smart a long time ago. See, I got beat in the head a lot. I said, I used to travel. I had to go to Europe a lot. And I said, sometime, my mom gave me this old King James Bible, and she used to tell me, she said, Bo, if you got this with you, if you got the Lord with you, you're never alone. You got Jesus.
That's right.
I remember I used to be over there alone because I was doing different things. And, I got lonely. This is honest truth. I will see the United States flag, and it makes me feel home.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, I work with the military. I said, do you know when you have a young woman or a young man or someone in a foxhole that know that they may not be getting out, they may not come back home, but they're fighting for you and stuff. And I said, guys, that hurt me because I said, guys, I own a business.
Yeah.
And I said, the thing is when you kneel in a uniform or the company you working for, they have the right to say, no, you're not going to do it on my time. Now, if you want to do it outside of my time, that's fine, but you're doing it on my dime. Meaning, if you keep kneeling, I can't get my job. My company ain't going to go. So I said, I think it's disrespectful. And I said, guys, the Black National Anthem, I said, wow, I didn't know that certain people had a national anthem. Like, I'm thinking, are we going to do the Chinese national anthem next or the Asian national anthem?
And they're talking about playing that before the national anthem now.
The first game, but let me tell you the reason why. And I said, have y'all thought about this? They're not going to have no crowd in the first game. You remember there's a COVID going on, the pandemic. So they're going to play that in the first game. So are they going to play other people's national anthem throughout the season? Are they going to do it during the Super Bowl? I said, why are they doing that? Because that's divisive.
That's
right.
divisive.
Politicizing and divisive.
It's separation. And I said, guys, you don't separate. I said, if there's a problem, why are we not trying to solve it? Because people in Washington has had this problem for a long time. Why are they not fighting it to get it solved? They talk about it, but no one has ever. I said, you got to stay on it like a dog on a bone.
Yeah, to throw money at the problem.
Yeah,
that's all they do. They create the problem, and
you
then
throw money at it, you got to get quiet.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna give you a little bit of money. You go over there. I said, money don't solve it.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're talking about reparations right now. And what the average Black person don't realize is that you will never see a dime of that money.
That's right.
So where's it gonna go? Where is it going? That's what I asked someone. Where's the money going? Right. And to be honest with you, my mom said this. My mom, who's older, she's in her 80s. So she was around. She said, how can you pay for your great uncle being lynched? What money is how can you pay for your great grandfather being burned to death?
Wow.
Money don't pay for that. She said, so what we do is, she said, what we do is we try to get equality to get equal.
Right.
So you don't go out paying no one for anything. What are you gonna? This is what's so funny. I watch these stupid shows sometimes. And I watch this, and I should say, I watched this show with this person sold someone out for $100,000, sold a best friend out for $100,000. And I said, man, that is amazing, because $100,000, she probably spend that in a day. And she had a friend for a lifetime.
Wow.
Is that worth it?
Wow. That is.
And is it worth it what the left has put this country through? Hershel, it was so nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Would you promise to come back on if we want to chat?
Whenever y'all need me. Hey, I love you guys. Like I said, my son is going to be so excited that I got an opportunity to talk to you guys, and thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, I have a question. Can I ask him a question?
No.
Yes.
You want to ask a question?
I was trying to get a question that's starting to bother me, and it's only been bothering me like all of a sudden, like the last 72 hours. All of a sudden, I've had this epiphany that's come across to me that do we really even want to use? Do we really? It's almost like I feel like we care more. We've talked about this, do we kneel and do we say the, it's like we've talked more about that than we have about solutions. I don't see the folks that are saying, bringing all this forth, saying, hey, here's some solutions, here's what we can do. I hear them talking more about dissing the flag, and it's all of a sudden come to me that it's like the flag in America's at siege under the whole problem, not really concerned about the solution. I'm concerned that some of the people that are pushing that narrative, they don't really care about solving that other issue.
They don't. These issues have been a problem in our country for decades.
Right.
Now, nobody wants to solve them. You have Joe Biden hiding in a basement, won't come out to confront his racist past, because he's the true racist and a bigot.
Yes.
You have these leaders that sit up in Congress. They throw money at the problem, but nobody ever wants to solve the problem. Look at Senator Tim Scott when he introduced the bill and how they called
They won't come to the table. Oh, we'll talk about it later, but let's keep.
It's the same old. And then what they did, they played all of these games, and they're using this pandemic to keep our economy tanked, livelihoods gone. People gonna end up having to file bankruptcy, all because they already know that President Trump could beat Joe Biden. So this is how we're even playing field right here.
It's
so
always been a
game to them.
It's always been
they don't care about people's livelihoods.
As long as they can keep the problem, they can continue to play the game. They
That's
don't
right. They don't want to get rid of it. Look at what they're trying to do. They're pushing socialism. They want to make Black people feel like you need something from the government instead of getting it on your own. You are a victim. Woe is me. They know what to do to push the emotional buttons of Black people. They play the race card. And what we have to do is continue to play the Trump card so we can win. This is a game for the left.
That's right. And look at President Trump. He wants to go in and help fix these neighborhoods.
Right.
Fix what's going on. But look at the mayor right there in Chicago.
She's a Black one.
She's a Black one.
Last night, she took down a statue. You removed the statue, but you won't remove the criminals that's creating chaos and killing up law-abiding citizens.
Right.
Babies are being shot. Nobody cares about that.
Right. Hey, I tell you what's so funny, because I remember I told you I was educating myself. And I think you guys know the whole story behind that emancipation statue, don't you?
Yeah.
And see, people will always talk about it was paid for by free slaves. But do you know that slave that is kneeling is not really kneeling, he's taking off his chain.
That's right.
And that's the picture of the last slave taken in the Slave Act.
Right.
So, and the president is giving his emancipation paper, meaning he's free.
He's free.
He's free.
But you know what, Hershey? The reason why they are trying to erase all of this is because the Democrat Party don't want people to see their racist past. It just came out in the New York Post that Planned Parenthood is now considering Margaret Sanger a horrific bigot. She was a bigot back then when she said she wanted to exterminate the Negroes. Okay? She was but y'all didn't realize that. Who sat on her board? Who sat on her board? Well, guess who sat on her board? Bill Gates' father is being alleged set on the board to exterminate Black people. And it's time for Black people to wake up. And ain't nothing gonna change until they start voting right. Look at who's running things right now in your cities, in your states. Look at it. And then compare President Trump to Biden. Biden has been in government almost half a century. 47 years and haven't done one thing for the betterment of Black people. But President Trump have done all of these things for Black people, and Biden want to call him that R-word? No, President Trump is not a racist. He's the realest. The only color he sees is green, and he wants everybody to have some of it. And after this pandemic is over, scamdemic, plandemic, whatever you want to call it, you're going to see this economy boom bigger, better, and stronger than you've ever seen it before. Up under the businessman, not a career politician.
Well, I thank you guys. I tell you what, my son need to talk to you guys. Hey,
we hope we answered her question.
I tell you what, if you guys will promise to talk to my son sometime, y'all will have me forever, because let me tell you, you want to see a little boy that's smart. You know, this little kid speaks 4 different languages and writes them and stuff. And he is a smart kid, but he absolutely loves you guys to death. He probably listening to you guys now out in California.
Wow.
So y'all got to promise that y'all will talk to him sometime.
We will.
Most definitely. Make sure that he look at all of our videos. But we really thank you for your time today. Thank you for coming on today. We really, really do love you all. And say hello to even the dog in the back.
Yeah.
Hey.
I told you, did I not say he's gonna get in the pitch? He passed by like he's gonna answer the door. Like he can open the door. He got hands open the door. Like, dude, you can't open no door. Get away from that.
Thank you all. Love y'all.
Love you all.
All right.
So there you have it, you all. Listen, This election is the most crucial election of our lifetime.
Yes, it is.
When we see how even race is being politicized now and have been thrown into this whole election process, you're going to have to make a choice.
That's right.
It's time for you to pick a side. Either you can get right or get left.
That's right.
But whatever you do, make sure you vote red. R-E-D. Remove every Democrat. And vote for President Donald J. Trump.
That's right.
In the meantime, we'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the '94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. In fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. Not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Mass incarceration has put hundreds of thousands behind bars for minor offenses. Joe Biden wrote those laws.
Every major crime bill that's come out of this Congress has had the name Joe Biden on that bill. We do everything but hang people for jaywalking in this bill.
Joe Biden's policies destroyed millions of black lives. Joe Biden may not remember, but we do.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Take a look at my record, man.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others.
He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement and kept telling the story anyway.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff.
Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea.
That's not what the word marching means.
Twitter.
I was not out marching.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
And you ain't black. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. You ain't black. You ain't black. You ain't black. You ain't black.
The most racist thing a person could tell me is that I'm supposed to choose something based on my race.
You ain't black.
We're red, white, and blue.
That's right. He can run, but he won't be able to hide his record. He can run, but he won't be able to hide his record. But he won't be able to hide his record.
We're red, white, and blue.
That's right. We're American.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat.
Hysterical xenophobia.
Be giving Americans a false sense.
Is it accurate that if these steps had not been put in place, it could have been 2 billion people dead here in the United States?
Yes. No matter how hard they try to stop us, they can't. We built the greatest economy the world has ever seen, and we're going to do it again. Together, we're beating back the invisible enemy.
What the federal government did was a phenomenal accomplishment.
Through it all, the world has witnessed the unyielding resolve of our incredible American people.
Promise made, promise kept.
And I'm fighting for you, and I love doing it with everything that I have. And you know that. With the grace of God, we will win this war, and we will win this war quickly. And we will make America great again.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Come on in.
Come on.
Come on a little closer.
Come on.
Because we got something to tell you.
That's right.
Now, y'all know we just finished the last chapter of our book called Uprising.
That's right.
Which is due out on August the 18th. Go to diamondandsilkbook.com to pre-order right now.
That's right.
That's diamondandsilkbook.com. Hey y'all, join us on Chat It for our exclusive interview with Dr. Ben Carson. I always say wherever you find your behind your mind, put it there. We talk about everything. Dealing with this coronavirus pandemic.
You stand 100% chance of dying from starvation versus a 99% chance of recovering from this virus.
Well, see, that's something that no one ever talks about.
So join us on Chat It. That's ChatDit.com. Chat It. ChatDit.com. We want to see your face in the place.